Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love.
Beyond.
Beyond.
Bed. Love. Beyond. Bed. Love. Beyond.
Welcome, listener. Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, episode 21.
Damn. We're legal.
Yes, we're legal now.
Yes.
Yes, legal to drink. All right. Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love.
Like us.
I am one of your hosts, Martini, and the other host is...
Jen. Still Jen. Every week.
Yes.
All day, every day.
Every week. All day, every day. Thank you for listening to us on all these social media platforms that we're on.
Do we have to name them all?
No, we don't have to name them all, but thank you for listening on Podbean, iTunes, Podcast, Stitcher, and Jennifer's favorite,
Google Play, bitches.
Yeah, okay. Didn't need to include that, but all right, that's fine. Yeah,
I say it with love.
Yes, you do say it with love. So episode 21 is called Being Divorced, a Journey from Broken to Breaking Free. And we have a guest to talk about this, and her name's Janika.
Hi, that is
Hey,
me.
Janika.
How you doing, Janika?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna talk about
I already forgot what we talked about last week, so don't worry.
No. We're gonna be talking about the divorce thing because
I'm a professional.
I'm a professional. No, but it's just that we haven't been necessarily running a series, but like we've talked about obviously being single and then situationships and
we had our blind date situation.
the blind date situation and stuff like that. So we're running through the whole spectrum, and like we said last week that we're still gonna do the part 2 of that whole blind date thing about with the engaged people. So we're
engaged people are hard to get a hold of because they're like busy planning weddings. So
Yeah.
they're like, can you do a podcast? We're like, bitch, I'm planning a wedding. I'm like, you don't want to do our podcast?
I know, right? Like, what the hell are you doing? So we're kind of like jumping ahead on the spectrum from like engaged, like the beginning to unfortunately the end. But it's not necessarily
always
the end.
And it's not necessarily unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true too.
See?
Yeah, I was saying that, but you freaking yeah, I was getting there. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Tag team.
I know, right? Jeez, it's not the
Nice.
end. It's the end of the marriage, but not the end of like whatever yourself and all that. Hoorah!
Said the bitter
Hoorah.
man.
That's right, the bitter man. That's right. Wataguan.
I'm gonna try to change that perspective.
Yeah, all right. Good luck. So, but first, we're gonna get into some daily dish.
What's going on with you, Martini?
Nothing's going on with me.
Martini, that's not exciting.
Still staying bitter. But what's going on with
Martini.
you?
Martini, can I like plan a date for you or something?
Bitter for life. Yeah. What?
Can I plan a date for you or something?
Absolutely not.
Why?
No, that's not happening. But I know
God.
you. Oh no, actually, I do have something to talk about though. Then
Oh.
we'll talk about your thing.
Okay, good.
I was presenting something to Jennifer before I sent it to her. It was a meme about it was
I'm like intently listening. I'm like,
Me too.
there was
no
a meme.
no I showed it to you. All right.
And then
All right, so it was a meme involving Kobe Bryant and his wife. I think her name was Vanessa, and Dwayne Wade and
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union. And see, now I'm definitely gonna have to not find it, but
I think I posted it.
locate. Did you post it? And I was like, oh, here it is, perfect. And on the meme it said,
I posted it.
2 women that are happily married because they didn't let a little cheating ruin the relationship. And I was like, oh wow, that's deep within itself. But then somebody replied back, well, bitches heal like Wolverine when the bank account is nice. And I was just like, god damn, like it's too much to talk about. So I wanted to really talk about it because at the top it was like lemonade, and then we all know
How'd it go?
lemonade. So like we remember the
Rant.
Jennifer rant about lemonade. The 15 it was just as long as her video.
Wow.
It was like the 15-minute rant that
Rant.
Jennifer did about lemonade. So I'm not gonna do a rant, but I just wanted to be like, wow, this is freaking not insane, but like this meme is
The truth.
pretty powerful. Yeah,
Yeah,
it probably is the truth. But the thing is like,
I don't know about Vanessa, but Gabrielle Union looks like a bad bitch who like grab him by the dick and be like, I swear to God, if you ever.
She's that
Cheat
one
on-
that's gonna be like, drop your pants. I'm
'Cause
smelling it.
because
Drop them now.
Because here's the thing, and I know I'm probably gonna mess this up. I'm not a sports dude or whatever, but from what I gather, I think he was okay. They were dating, right? And then they went on a break. Then he was
were
like,
on a break?
"Yo, you look kind of good. I'ma fuck with you." And then he fucked with this person, but then that person got pregnant during the break, and he was like, "Yo."
Baby, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. But then she's like, it's okay. And then so now like the baby's here.
Wolverine.
Yay.
That's why.
The baby's here, and then she's like, I love my man. And she's always like in his in the background in his interviews when when he wins games and shit.
Yeah, but we don't see what they go through. Like there was one little clip where they caught her and she was giving him that like, I will get in your ass when we get home. And one of his teammates co-passed. He's like, hey, what you doing? They went back to, I heard what the hell I said. It was like your parents yelling at you before you go in the store.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know how much validity that first half is, like two women that are happily married because they didn't let a little cheating ruin the relationship. Because what's her face with the Kobe Bryant wife, Vanessa, she was gonna bounce when that whole trial happened. But
she
then
stuck by his side.
but then she was like, you know what? Nah.
No, it wasn't
I'ma
that.
stay.
You saw the ring? You saw the
Yo,
ring?
I saw the ring.
Listen.
I still see the ring.
Listen, we'll get into my situation, but let
Yeah.
that ring had come out. What? I'd still be married.
Right.
You're like, listen, I'm gonna pawn it. I lost it. Put that money to the side and play my escape.
Right. Plan my escape.
Oh man.
Oh man. But I was just like, man, like I don't know. Does money really heal all wounds?
It
like,
doesn't heal it.
Come on, like
No, but you don't know where those girls came from.
No, I
don't
don't.
know where they came from either. So I mean, Gabrielle Union is an actress. So obviously, she has her own money. But like, I think that like,
But it's already hard enough for celebrities to date like a regular
it's
person.
hard
'cause you
enough
don't know.
for people to date regularly, like regular people to fucking date.
Yeah.
You know, these
Yeah.
people are famous and like they're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna deal with this. The devil you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't know.
Right.
So you cheat it, cool. You do it again, I swear to God, I'll stab you and catch a case. I don't care.
I mean, I'll do that and I don't got no money.
Stupid. All right. I mean, then that's it.
I don't know. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying,
yeah.
I see that it happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was just very interesting. Like, just like, wow. Like,
Holla for $1.
I guess so, man.
Strange for a little piece of
I
change.
guess so.
Yep.
So, yeah, nothing's going on in my life. What's going on? I know there's plenty to talk about on your end.
Not much. I mean, there's things, but I'm not sharing everything. But like,
Of course.
gotta keep some things private, man.
No, I know. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying. But you did say that you had two things that you wanted to talk about.
I don't know. I want to talk about Johnny English.
Yes.
Johnny English has contacted me from the fucking abyss.
Yes. Y'all remember Johnny English.
Right. Mm-hmm. I want to do his accent, but I can't. Like, I couldn't even do it. Yeah, like, I saw the phone ring and I picked it up and I was like, this is going to be a good conversation because I'm bored. I'm like just sitting at home. When I get bored, I get into trouble. Not really, but sometimes. So I was like bored watching TV and I was like, oh, hey. He's like, hey. He's like, oh, you finally picked up. I said, finally picked up? When have you ever called me? And he's like, I call you every day. I said, you must have mistaken me for somebody else. And he's like, no, I call you all the time. Why don't you want to hang out? He's like, you never want to hang out. I'm like, because we had this conversation. I forgot his name at some point. I was like, I couldn't be like, we had this conversation, Johnny English. And I was like, we had this conversation. I was like, what you want, I ain't giving. And I was like, I don't know what your end game is. And he's like, end game. He's like, I don't understand that American talk.
Because what you see, he's from England.
Yeah.
He's from England.
So
and he has like the whole.
he has the charming accent.
Listen, I am not going to lie about the situation. And I told him too. I was like, you are a very nice looking man. I was like, and the accent, I'm pretty sure these women are like throwing their drawers at you. I was like, but can I ask you a question? I was like, how old are you again? I was like, you're 28, right? He's like, no, I'm 29 now. I was like, 29 is the worst fucking age to be. 28 and 29, these guys are like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know. I just don't know where to go. Do I want to eat? Do I want to sleep? Do I want to fuck? Y'all don't know what the fuck you want at 28 and 29. Don't call me at 11 o'clock at night. So he's just like, oh, we should hang out. I'm like, look, I had a rough day today. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm not about this riffraff right now. And he's like, let me come over. Let's talk about it face to face. And I'm just like, do you really think this is gonna work? Like, do you think, in your heart of hearts, that I'm just gonna be like, okay, no? And he's like, what are you, 37 now? I'm like, yeah, because I met him back in October when I was 36. Thank you for remembering I had a birthday and not calling me on it. But I'm like, yo, what is, like, why are you calling me? So then he texts me. He's like, I really thought tonight was the night. Don't be a stranger. I gave him like a thumbs up. I was like,
I gave him a thumbs up.
Right.
Ultimate
like
shade.
Like, look,
Thanks,
this
but
is
no
not
thanks.
how it's gonna work.
He wanted to get the draws or
Oh, and then I said
the knickers.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, I was like, oh, wait. I was like, let me explain to you our interactions. We had coffee. You came to my house and acted super fucking awkward and wouldn't tell me where you worked because it was too much information. I was like, I don't know your fucking last name. You didn't give it up either. And I was like, and third, you sent me a full-blown text message telling me that your penis was too big for me. He's like, but I'm saying if you can handle it, you can handle it. And I'm like, yo.
All that before, he shouldn't have got into your house if you didn't know all of that.
You know what it was? Like, I had met him and we had gone on like one minor like meetup date and it was nice and he was a decent dude and like he was like texting back and forth and I was like, okay, whatever. I was newly single too. I was a little naive. And then like I was like, oh, he was like, oh, I'm in your area. Do you mind if I stop by? And I was like, sure, stop by. But then like he was like sitting, I'm like, you're in my house. And I was like, oh, you do IT in Newark. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, what company do you work for? Because my company's from Newark. And he was like, I'm not going to tell you that because you might come stalk me. What?
Your face.
You're in my motherfucking house.
I would have been like, okay, well, hey, stalk your ass on out the door.
Right, that's pretty
Have
much
a nice day.
And that's pretty much how the rest of the conversation went. I was like, oh, see that door there? At least to the garage. You can leave things by. But for some reason, he thinks that calling me up at 11 o'clock at night is going to, like, prove to, like, I don't know. If I was, like, 30, I might entertain it. But I'm not about that life. Right. I'm just not.
Mm.
That's booty call hours.
I'm a demisexual, damn it.
I mean, anything over 30, that's booty call hours.
Yeah. 11
p.m. I got to work in the morning.
Right. Like, some of us got job shit.
No.
Right.
You got to get your kids up.
I'm just like, I'm like, Mama, like, do I have to block his number at this point? Like, I don't understand. He's not, like, a harmful person.
Yeah.
He's not, like, restraining order boy.
But why waste your time?
You know what? I get bored. I really do get bored.
But look, you get bored, you find something new. You don't keep entertaining the same ball of string in the corner. Like, you know what? No, I'm good. Let me go.
I mean, I'm not like entertaining him per se as much as I'm just like, I like, he never calls. When he texts, I shut him down right away. I'm like, no, bye, peace. But then he like called. I was like,
you're entertaining it.
I am, because I'm so bored. I get bored late at night, damn it.
But see, you gotta flip. Look, you flip it around.
It makes good podcast material.
You flip it around and you say, "Hey, look."
Martini agrees. Martini's like,
you only hit him up when you feel like hitting him up. When you're bored.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking hit him up at all. I don't want to hit him up at all. I don't care about his 9-inch alleged penis.
Alleged.
I ain't seen it. I don't want to see it. Like, there's nothing that's gonna happen.
Put your penis in formation.
There's nothing that's gonna happen between me and him that's like gonna pop off. Like there is no end game with him. There is no future. There is no nothing. So I like, as much as I like entertain a phone call for shits and giggles, because I needed like my daily dose of laughs and comedy, and I needed something to explain to you today. I was like, I need some podcast material. Ring, ring. Look who it is. Johnny English. Perfect. Let me pick up. I'm like, this is sad. Like, and then part of me wants to be like the adult and just try to like school him a little bit, but it's not working because he doesn't understand English lingo. I don't understand what the end game is. What do you say? Why do you say that? What's his end game? What? How long have you been here?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Whatever. And he's like, oh, I call you, but your phone never picks up or something. And I was like, oh, you're probably still on that UK phone. I don't know. I was like having fun cracking my own jokes and him not getting them. It was just amusing to me and only me. So that's really like all that's going on, other than just weirdos, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird state of affairs out there.
So we're gonna get into the topic right now. And
no,
again,
it's gonna get serious.
That's
yeah.
good.
Oh, shit.
I got an email to help add to that.
Oh, okay.
Johnny English hit you up too?
No.
You want his number?
Gosh, please no. No.
It's 9 inches allegedly.
That's okay. I married the biggest penis I've ever seen.
Oof.
Allegedly. But, and I threw it back. So, doesn't make it...
Throwback.
The question
Thursdays.
is, does size matter? No. No, it does not. The community can keep that.
All right. So, so the topic again is
that should be a podcast.
Well,
Does size matter?
Sure, you can be a podcast.
Yes.
Being divorced.
I'll come back.
A journey from
Yes.
broken to breaking free. So, we've decided to get Janika on here
Hi.
because she
Hey,
does
Janika.
have an amazing story to tell.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Amazing. It amazes me every day.
It's an amazing story about, just loss, being broken, but that end part, breaking free, because you have achieved such triumph after like the storm. And I've seen it, and I'm very happy for you, and I'm very proud to see where you've gone through and where you've become. And we'll definitely talk about the good stuff that's been happening to you, but we're gonna go to the bad. So I mean, before I even get into any articles or whatever, okay, tell us how. Okay, where did you meet your ex-husband?
Oh, high school. It's crazy because they always say, by the time you're this age, you've already met the person that you're gonna marry and all this stuff. And I knew him in high school, and he was like this little scrawny guy. And
Do I know him?
you probably
I don't think so. No.
look like Snoop Dogg. That's all I'll say. It's about as good as I'll go. But we knew each other in high school. I wasn't dating in high school or anything like that, so all I ever had was friends. And years later, we ended up bumping into each other at his nephew's graduation, which my sister was graduating the same class. And I was sitting there with my sister's boyfriend and my little brother, who was in a stroller at the time. And he walks up and he's like, "So, is that your baby?" I'm like, "No." "Is that your boyfriend?" I'm like, "No." "Can I get your number?" Just like that. Like, "Oh, well, I know you. Oh, we're bumping into each other, reminiscing." History goes downhill from there.
Damn.
No.
That escalated quickly.
No, honestly, there were good times. It's like most things. Everything starts out great. You're on that incline and life is perfect. And I remember sitting in the driveway with a couple of my friends saying, I see life differently now and life is great. And, you put yourself in a bubble in the beginning. So it's like,
that bubble.
yeah, the bubble is great until it pops. And I have learned the stages of learning when the bubble pops. Because, the bubble pops, but it's like riding around on a deflated tire. Like, oh, I hear it flat, but I think I can make it to the gas station. Maybe I can get there. But, I realized that it kind of deflated long before I even got married. And had I known then what I know now, I would have probably ran before I said I do.
How long were you guys dating for?
My heart's breaking already.
5 years we were together. We dated 5 years before we got married. We were together a total of 7 years. It was a short marriage. We were married in 8, 12, 11, and divorced by 13. So we had a good solid run out the door year. So I appreciate my wedding, Martini. You were at my wedding. It was a great big party.
Not only was I at it, I was in it.
Yes. He was definitely in the wedding. And
Aww.
Yes, yes. He was one of the groomsmen. He saw the volcano erupt.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great big party, and honestly, I wouldn't take that moment back. But even at that moment, I found out 3 days before my wedding that my ex-husband had faked a paternity test. So he swabbed his friend's mouth, and because the girl had claimed that he was the father of her child. We were coming back from our food tasting at the venue when that phone call came in. And that, yeah.
Martini's looking at me like, you don't know what the story is about to go down. I know the story, but you don't know the story. And I'm like intently sitting here.
He has lived it.
Oh,
he has
man.
lived it.
Hold up. Let me get comfortable.
Yeah. So, I planned my wedding for a year. So it's like, money down the drain, or do you go through with it? And both my parents being Southern parents, you're instilled with that. You work things out, and I would never tell my kid that. You be happy. You want to be a slut bucket in the street? Don't catch nothing. Don't leave nothing out there.
Right.
So things like that. I'm never gonna tell them. I think my parents, my family, they have the right idea as far as instilling the right values, as far as making sure that you have a great foundation. But I think it comes to a point where you have to say, okay, is this a good foundation to build? You don't just say, oh, look at all this muddy swamp, I'm going to put my house here. So, it escalated from there. And I just made the decision that all my family had came out of town. And it was more about making sure I made everybody else happy.
Right.
So, unfortunately, that lasted about 1.5 years. And I ended up finding out a whole lot of things about my community property that I married that I had to give back to the community. So
and then I found out a whole bunch. I completely discovered a new side that I never even knew about this person.
Yeah.
And I've known him just about even longer than you.
Longer than worked with him, things like that. You had a more personal, connection. And it's funny that you can meet somebody and spend years with them, hang out with them, and you never know that there's another side of them. And unfortunately, it was one of those things where my guard was completely down, because now I've been hurt before. I was in relationships prior to him, and I've never cheated. I've never, stepped outside of my marriage. But at the same time, I've been cheated on. But because of that feeling, I'll never do it to anybody else.
Right, right. Absolutely.
You put yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, here's this person who I know, I grew up, I went to school with you, you were a good person, you were cool to me, you were nice to me. Now you're an adult and I know you wouldn't do these things to me because you know me.
Right.
So, you would think that wouldn't happen. And when everything started to hit the fan, I mean, I'll tell y'all some juicy stuff if you want to hear it.
Sure. Hey.
So
here's the thing. I definitely want you to share what you feel like sharing. But I really think it would help, like, the audience to really hear.
Okay.
So
like,
I just want to get like a timeline. So like you met in like what year?
Okay. So we met in high school, but we started dating in 2006.
Okay.
We knew each other. We hung out. Everybody just assumed we were boyfriend and girlfriend because we were together so much. So I remember one day we went out to this bar and, some girl started to talk to him, and I get that little, itch in my stomach. Like, who is this girl talking to him? And doesn't she know I like him? I hang out with him all the time. So I got that feeling. So we obviously had that conversation of what are we and what are we doing? It kind of moved from there. Fast forward 6 months in, because that's all the good stuff.
Right.
All the mushy gushy life is great happens the first 6 months. So within 6 months, his car breaks down. Now I worked in Elmsford across the bridge, and he worked in Tarrytown overnight. So his car breaks down, and I am working 1 to 10. I am coming from Rockland County, going to Elmsford, working a full shift, driving back to Rockland County, go home, take a shower, change my clothes, pack a bag so I can take it with me to work tomorrow. I pick him up, drag him back across the bridge, sleep in my car until he got off at 9 o'clock in the morning, took him back into Rockland, slept on his sidewalk, like not on his sidewalk,
Right.
outside his house in the car until it was like maybe 10, 11 o'clock, and I would head back across the bridge to do it all over again.
Oh, Jesus.
He wasn't allowed to take his phone inside of FedEx, so he leaves it in the car. I always believe that everything you do in the dark, it will come to light for whatever reason. I'm sitting in the car, I'm sleeping. That phone starts vibrating at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, at the time I had just moved, recently had moved back from Buffalo, changed my phone number. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's calling me from inside, trying to get me. And I'm as oblivious and naive as I was at the age that I was. It just baffles me when I think about it. Like, some normal person was like, I bet you that some bitch calling his phone. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I really trusted him like that. Like, that's the depth of my trust for him. It was like, he's probably trying to reach me. I was so stupid. And, it just shows you how naive you can be with just signs are right in front of your face. So,
love is blind.
Yeah. It's cataracts, blind, pimples, goosebumps, gonorrhea, and some. It's all in there. But so of course I answer the phone. I hear, hello, some girl phone, some girl. I'm like, hi, who's this? She's like, can I speak to? And she asked for his name. And I was like, well, he's not here. Would you like to leave a message? I'm very polite. This is your phone. I don't know the extent. This could be your aunt, your sister, somebody. I don't know. So as much as I like to be like, I was like, who is this bitch? No, I really wasn't. So I took a message.
Took a message?
I sure did. He would tell them, that I called and I can't get in touch with him and he's supposed to be my man. Oh yeah? So you're telling his girlfriend that he's supposed to be your man.
If I'm sleeping in a fucking car for you and some chick calls your phone, you don't have a ride home from work. Fuck what you said.
And like I said, I am the type of person that people like, oh, I wouldn't have that. Everybody tells me the same thing. I would have did this. I would have did that. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm really 7:30. I was born on July 30th and I'm really crazy. I waited. No, because I want to look you in your face. I want to, hi.
And he got off at 9. That was the longest 7 hours ever. Oof.
He got off at 9 a.m. I sat in the car. So, of course, I went through his phone. I'm sending pictures and messages from his phone to my phone. I'm snapping pictures and stuff, things like that, everything. He comes out. It is pouring rain. I said, I need some gas. You mind if we stop at the gas station? Can you pump the gas? I just finished working. I'm tired. Okay, no, you're right. My bad. I'm sorry. I am so insensitive. I got out to add, I'm not even going to lie because I'm dramatic, just to add insults. I had an umbrella in the car. I got out, just let myself get drenched just for the ambiance. Right? I let myself get drenched. I was only going to put $5. I filled that bitch up. I stood there and got wet. Just let it happen. Got back in the car. Had one tissue, dab. You okay? You good? You ready? Put your seatbelt on, boo. Went home. So in between all of that, before he gets in the car, me and the girl had words. I forgot to tell you that. But me and the girl had words. So I said, you know why I'm not going to say anything? Because I don't have to. I know ratchet when I hear ratchet. I don't have to say anything.
Right.
She's going to say something. She told me, he comes to the house before he goes to work. This, that, and the other. Okay. Sure enough, I drop him off, kiss him bye, have a great day. I leave. About 1 o'clock that afternoon, I get a phone call. I don't even answer. I let it go to voicemail. This about to be good. That's what I think to myself. Like, when I hear this message, it's about to be a wrap. I get that, hey, yeah. So I need to talk to you and I want to tell you something. I think you need to know. You want to confess now. Now you want to have a confession. Now you usher, right?
I was going to say, sit down, Usher, stop.
So I called him. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's your day? How's everything going? He was like, everything's good. I just want to tell you, I've been seeing this girl. Oh, yeah? Oh, really? Yeah, I know already. Oh, if you knew, how come you didn't tell me? I shouldn't have to. I should have to tell you cheating on me.
Right.
Excuse me, did you know? So, it was just a back and forth power struggle after.
But y'all were still dating at that point?
We were still dating. That was 6 months in. And like I said, we were together
man.
for a total of 7 years, because I felt like I was getting older. And if I would have known things now, like, hey, look, I wasn't that old back then. I'm older now, but I'm not that old back then. I wouldn't have felt like all my friends are getting married and people are in stable relationships.
Right.
And I gotta hurry up. That's how I feel like, my mom is getting older. I want her to see me get married and things like that. So, I wanted to take the next step. It was just little signs here and there. It was little bits of things that I think if I would have said, you know what, that ain't right. I do that now. Trust me.
Oh, I believe you.
Any little bit of thing, I'm like, what? Nah, I'm good.
I know.
No, thank you.
If the flag is pink, it's too red.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm like, no, you don't answer a text message quick enough. I'm like, shady. Block, deleted. I will hit somebody with the who's this real quick. Like, man, I just spoke to you this morning. You took too long. Who's this?
Right.
Sometimes I see the name pop up and I still say, who's this? Just to be mean. Who's this? I know it's you. Yeah.
The cheating definitely did not stop there.
No, it did not.
So did it stop for long enough for you to be like, okay, I feel like he's repented and he knows?
I think it stopped long enough for him to regroup and figure out different ways of cheating.
Oh, good God.
Because
this story is getting depressing.
Because, like I said, when we got married, to find out that you swabbed, to me that, like, well, what the ultimate sin was, fast forwarding, finding someone in your bed.
Anything.
But,
what the?
Yeah. So,
oh, Jesus.
It's just a long, drawn out, hey, there's little things that he would say that would make me think that he stopped, or he would, say, hey, listen, I want this to work, or let's try, or let's do things. So you're like, all right, well, let him try. I don't want to be that girl that's like, no.
Right.
And then he's the guy that's like, I've tried and I'm doing, and, and you're not letting me. So I tried. And it just, I don't know. It just progressed into sex was great. I mean, I'm never going to lie and say, oh, he was horrible in bed. No, I mean, I know why he was cheating. I mean, if he was slang banging the pee-pee like that, then I'd cheat with him too.
Right.
I'd come home and be like, shh, don't tell your wife. I am his wife. Wait a second. Cheating with my husband. But, it was always a power struggle. And then I partake in my own selective activities. We would have arguments over recreational functions. And that became well, you do that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I didn't know that this was on the level of cheating. I'm working 16-hour days and I'm tired. And
right.
I would like to come home and chill, and you want to go stick your penis in something. I don't know how this equals out. It doesn't, get to me. But anyway, it was just different ways of cheating. And we got married. We moved to Virginia. And had a great apartment,
Did you move to Virginia because of work, or did you move because you figured, let me move you as far away from
both
extracurricular pussy as possible?
Both.
Okay.
Primarily because of work. I found out that my job was thinking about closing down. Mm-hmm. So I said, it's a smart move. It's cheaper to live. It's a nicer place, things like that. And on top of that, he don't know nobody.
Right.
So there's no way for him to cheat. Lo and behold, he is the master. So
Damn.
He found a way. And we moved down there, and it really honestly didn't take long. For the first 6 months, he wasn't working. So he's home all day.
Oh, God.
I'm paying all the bills. I'm there. And it's
what is it? Idle hands is the devil's playground or something?
Right.
Something like that, yeah.
So, the first couple of instances, you think like, he makes me think like, oh, well, no, this is just from before. I don't understand. Then I found an SD card. One day I'm cleaning the house. I found this SD card. And I put it in the phone. I'm looking through pictures. It is like everything, tits, ass, everything that you can imagine. So I confront him about it. He says, "Oh, I picked that up at the bus stop, and I guess that's what was on it." That's like a crackhead saying, "That's not my crack pipe. I just happened to see it, and I picked it up as a good Samaritan." No. Like there were so many things that I would just have to say, okay. Because I can't even imagine that you're looking at me in the face and expecting me to believe this BS that's coming out of your mouth. Like, do I look this dumb? So little things like that. And I think where it started to really break apart was when we were in H&R Block and he's sitting there making plans for when I go to work. Like he was going to drop me off using my car and take my car and make other plans to go see someone. And I happened to look over because the lady's talking to him and he didn't answer. Happened to look over and I'm like, really? So I write down the number. I'm like, I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this number later. So I was like, so now we start having a silent argument. I don't know if you ever had a silent argument.
No.
So the lady is about, 2 feet away from us. I'm like, so you going to tell me who Keisha is? Or do I have to snatch your phone? Smiling at the lady. Hi, yeah, no, yes. Yeah, 3. Yeah. Who the fuck is Keisha? Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Don't make me make a scene in here. Give me your phone. So, I got quick hands. I was like, look, don't make me snatch that phone real quick. I got that phone in this hand and went like this. Oh, this boy jumped up and wrestled the phone out of my hand. Papers went everywhere. I was so embarrassed. I said, man, what? She was like, your tax $200 and something to do my fine. Here's the card. Charge it. I don't care. I just put it, get out. I left him at our H&R Block. We only lived around the corner. Left him at H&R Block, drove around the corner, went home. And I start calling the number. So I start, calling these people up and things like that. Girls picking up, things like that. Okay, no problem. All right.
Crazy,
we don't argue no more. You have the nerve to use the phone to cheat and send text messages and call your girls from the same company that your wife works for. Really? Because you on my employee plan. So I could check your bill. You realize that, right? So of course, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. You want to act like a child? We're going to do this like a child. Start checking his phone. I had that thing I had like a whole graph of like recently called numbers, everything. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start calling the numbers that he calls often, right? Finally, I reached this one girl. She's like, yeah, I just want to let you know I'm 17, things like that. Tells me she's 17 years old. Now,
Jesus. Just
for the sake of, I'm 37. My husband was a year and a half younger than me. So for some girl to tell me, I'm 17-year-old girl, I'm like, wow. Now, his niece, I started seeing his niece and his nephews, and they were telling me, yeah, he's messing with the girls at the center. A lot started to come out. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sorry for the people that may know. It is what it is. Don't cheat if you don't want to get on blast. But at the end of the day, it was just so much that started to come out that I was like, I don't know what else to do. So I ended up calling his parents, thinking like, you guys made him. You have to know
what to do about this.
This is a situation for you. So his mom knew. Oh, damn. Yeah, the baby and this and the other. She was, keeping in touch with the girl that had said that he had a baby by her and all this stuff. And which ultimately turned out that it wasn't his, allegedly, because he doctored, legal documents before. So I don't really know the truth. But his mom knew. I had a long conversation with his dad, and I really respect his dad, because his dad was at my wedding. His dad said to me, you're a good woman. And as long as, somebody's being coddled and babied, they're never going to be a man. And you need to pack up your emotions and go. He says you need to pack up your emotions and go, because it's not going to get any better. And I really had to look at something like that. If your own father is saying that, to his daughter-in-law, there has to be some real story in there for me to grasp that. So moving on, I looked at that situation and I that's exactly what I did. I said, you know what? I caught the last straw one day, said, hi, have a great day at work. I spent the entire day, I called out of work, spent the entire day moving my apartment. For 3 months, he didn't know that I was getting my own apartment, everything, got it all lined up. He came home from work one day. I was still in the same complex, just around the corner, so he never even knew. And I'm sitting in my car waiting for him to walk up. So I'm like, yeah, so I drive up like I just came in the complex. I'm like, hey, you want to get in the house? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, the key is inside, just the same way you locked me out, because he locked me out of my apartment one time so he can cheat with this girl. I said, the key is in. Yeah.
Oh my God, my head's spinning.
Yeah, I left, backing up, I had left one day to go visit a friend of mine in Maryland, and we had a big argument and everything, and I was just like, I'm leaving. I says, I'll be back. He says, when are you coming back? I says, I don't know, sometime before Tuesday. Now, I had to work on Sunday, and this was like a Thursday, so I was coming back, Sunday night either way. He didn't know that. I get back Sunday, my key doesn't work. I can't get in my apartment. So I'm like, what the hell? I know I paid the rent. I'm like, I know I paid the rent, everything. And I had to call a friend of mine. He jumped in my window, let me in, from the inside. I was like, listen, you walk around the apartment first, because if anybody's in there, you need to handle it before I get in there. He's like, no, there was like rose petals on the living room floor, everything. I'm like, oh, a word? This can't be for me because my key don't work. So, things like that. So I call him up. He was like, oh, I'm at work now. Supposedly he was at work, which was 45 minutes away. I tend to have a bit of a temper being a Leo. I'm like, if you don't get your ass here in the next 20 minutes, now you 45 minutes away, I would catch a ticket. So I was like, we're going to have problems. I said, if I get this door open before you get here, your stuff will be outside. He showed up in 15. I don't know what Back to the Future time warp car he used.
Damn.
But for the fear, I don't know what. He's like, not my NBA 2K. That's probably what he was. Yeah. Listen, I had a fight with Xbox for sex. So.
Oh.
You've been
yeah,
there.
I've had those rants before. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I will tattoo a joystick on my ass next time. I don't know what you need me to do.
That needs to be. I mean, I don't have that problem anymore because I tend to date people who don't play video games. But that's a fucking whole other podcast.
I don't mind video games, but just can play with me. I got buttons. Lots of buttons.
Right.
So.
Preach.
But yeah, locked me out of my apartment. It was just a bunch of nonsense. And
Look, as a female, if I go into somebody's house with a man and there's pictures of a chick there.
Oh no, he took our wedding pictures. What
the fuck?
He took our wedding pictures off the wall.
Martini already knows this story because he's just shaking his head.
He knows. He knows. He's lived it with me. But long story short, I decide, you know what? I'm going to end this on a dramatic, memorable note.
Okay.
So I called the 17-year-old girl back. I'm like, hey, so let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in my house? Because it's that's what every person, when you find out that somebody's cheating, that's what you want to know. Have you been in my house? Have you fucked in my bed? Because then I'm going to have to kill him.
And burn the bed.
Right. So I said, have you ever been in my house? She was like, yes. She was like, you have a 2-bedroom. She was like, you have this in the living room, this in the living room. I'm like, oh. I said, so when you came here, I was like, it didn't dawn on you that there was pictures or anything. She's like, I saw, pictures of him. That was it. So I was like, okay, what are you doing tonight? She says, nothing. I'm taking the bus into Hampton. I was like, all right, I'm going to pick you up at HRT. I'm going to pick you up at the stop right there. And I'm going to drop you off at the corner. Since you said you know where I live, I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to park my car. You're going to meet me at my house at about 11:30. He gets out of work at about he gets home about 11 o'clock. I said, about 11:30. I says, I'm going to call your phone. I said, when it rings, I'm going to hear you pick up. Because I have my Bluetooth in. I said, I'm going to hear you pick up. I'm just going to go ahead and hang up. That means to just come on over. So I parked my car on the other side of the whole development. Like, if she's lying to me, there's no way for her to determine which building I'm in. None. So he gets home, and I said, sit down. I had a chair sitting in the middle of the living room. I said, go ahead, sit down right there. I said, do you know this girl? And I said her name. He was like, no, I don't know nobody named that. Da, 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 da. I said, listen, I'm only asking because obviously I know something. I might not know the whole thing, but I know some of it. So here's your chance for you to come clean. All right, well, we work together at Food Lion. Okay, y'all work together. Has she ever been in the house? No, she never been. I said, listen, don't lie. Tell me something. Well, she was in here. We were playing video games. So your story's changing every second, right?
Dramatic change. I don't know her now.
Right.
We've been playing games.
Y'all been playing video games. I said, well, y'all drinking anything? No. This, that, and the other. No, wait. She asked me for a beer and blah, 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 blah. And now she tells me now he had an issue with me smoking. And she was telling me, oh, yeah, he would buy stuff for me and let me smoke in the house. And
I was like, oh, really?
Yep. So I said, oh, yeah. I was like, you ever smoke with her? He's like, no, absolutely not. How dare you, even insinuate that? Like, oh, excuse me while I make mistakes on your cheating record. So, that's how I was looking at the situation. But he was like, no, I don't know her. That's not me. So, we had a couple of drinks. We were playing Xbox. So I did my whole little phone call as he's talking. So as he's in the middle of his, lie number 352, I get a knock on the door. I looked at him like, you expecting company? No, you got somebody coming? No. I said, hold on. I said, so this girl that you don't know, right? She ain't never been here, right? But then you had drinks, and so I'm kind of recapping. So I opened the door. I said, oh, look at that. Is this the girl you don't know? Is this her? Oh my gosh. He looked like he saw 5 ghosts and they was coming for him right that day. Life was over. Like, oh, Jesus, take my soul.
Oh my God.
To hell with the wheel. Take the car. Take the everything. Take the air that the car is in. So I said, okay. So he's sitting there. There's only one entrance to my apartment. I set my chair right in front of the door. Like, you ain't leaving. We're going to sit here. We jump through the window. That's all you got. So
what'd she say?
She comes in on like this. You could tell she was young. Like, even if I didn't believe her when she said she was 17, when I met her and when I saw her and her whole demeanor, you can tell she was young. So she's like, how are you going to do this to me? Like, as soon as she walked in the house, she goes, that wasn't there. Like, first of all, you fucking bitches that snitch. That should be your first clue to not cheat. You can't even mess with chicks that's going to lie for you.
Right.
Like, listen, I ain't no cheater, but my game would be impeccable if I was. Look at all this stuff y'all do wrong. I'm like, nah, bro, you not coming to the crib. You don't even know my real name. You ain't blasting. You gonna blast somebody on Facebook, but it won't be me.
No.
She's like, that wasn't there. How dare you do this to me? And I'm looking at her like, you remember that? I don't know if anybody watches Love and Hip Hop, but that episode when Mimi sat there and let Jocelyn whoop the hell out of Stevie J. That's exactly how I was. I was like, yeah, girl, you tell him, girl.
I've only been in that situation once, and I have to say it's very empowering. Mm-hmm. Like my ex, who I dated for 7 years, the one I just showed you the picture of, we broke up. We lived together at some point. We broke up at some point. But like we were like talking and maybe trying to rekindle things. And like I remember I got a call from his house one night and it picked up and hung up. And I was like, that's weird. And I had said to him, I was like, yo, what's wrong with your phone? He's like, I don't know. I didn't call you. I was like, somebody did. And then the next day I got a call and it was a girl and she was like, who are you? And I was like, Jennifer. And she's like, I know you. I was like, I know you know me. I was like, of course you know me. And she's like, you're his ex. I was like, yeah, but we're talking. Who are you? And she's like, well, we've been seeing each other. I said, really? I said, would you like to meet at the diner? So I met her at the diner, and then her and I came up with this ingenious plan that she was going to come over to my house at like 6 o'clock and he got off at 7 o'clock. And I had my girls there too because I was like, if something goes down, I don't know this little Spanish chick and I'm not that strong. But like my friends were there sitting at the table like, shit, something's about to happen. And she sat in my living room and he walked in and I was like, hey baby. He's like, hi, what's going on? I was like, come sit down in the living room, I gotta talk to you. And he walked down and around the corner. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I was like, I'll let y'all talk that out. And then she started wilding out on him and screaming at him. And I was like, you're not gonna scream at him in my house. Like,
see, I'm not defending him. No, sorry.
I wasn't
screaming
really...
him in my house, in my mama house, in the church. I don't care.
In the church.
You like because the thing is, we give the guys the power when we're like, wait a second, I know you cheating, but you're not about to disrespect my man. No, girl, disrespect him, snuff him. Do you need a boxing glove?
At that point, I didn't care because I wasn't like fully invested in getting back with him. And at this point, I was like, this is not the first time I got a phone call from a fucking female. So I already knew,
signs. Again, these are things that I say are signs,
right?
Because I've gotten a phone call from the female, and unfortunately, and again, it's like he was a very smart man. I'm never gonna take that away from him. I would always say
clearly
that
not.
No. As far as his intellect, as far as a person, you know what I mean. Maybe not in the right decisions as a husband, a boyfriend, a man. Maybe those decision makings are kind of fucked up.
He's using his smarts for evil.
Exactly. He was the type of person. I would give it to you. He would give you the shirt off his back. That was the type of person he was, and that is what made me fall in love with him.
Are you still friends with him, Martini?
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
That doesn't bother me any. I love Martini. He's a great person. He is the definition of someone who knows how to be friends with two people who no longer get along.
Right.
And, I'll never hate my ex-husband, but I will never get into a situation of being back with him. It would be extreme circumstances for that. I am legally divorced and I thank Jesus every day, except for the fact that it is hell based on the email that I got today, trying to change my name back to my maiden name. So it's like, I didn't have a plan B with him. Right. He was my plan A, B, C, all the way to Z. So, things like that happen. But I let her sit there and scream at him and argue with him and whatever. And hey, she cried and, boo-hooed and how can you? And
you're like, bitch, I married him.
I've been in a situation where girls have called me and I'm sure he's probably had people call me just to, be like, see, I told you I wasn't doing anything.
So let me ask you this. I don't mean to interject, but it's in my brain and then it will go away. Mm-hmm. So like a few podcasts ago, I talked about a situation that happened in the past. And I had met a guy and we went on a couple dates and he was really nice. And then like I basically found out he was married, which he did not disclose to me, obviously, at all. Now, as a woman, everyone was like, yo, you need to tell her. Like, because I don't know who
tell
she
the
is.
Wife.
Tell the wife. Like, I don't
that
know
who
cheating. She is, but I obviously know who she is via Facebook. Like, because that's how he got caught. Because he was like, oh, check out my page on this, check out my page on this. And it linked me to his Facebook page. And you have a whole fucking family.
100% honest with you. It's a balance. The reason I say that is because I've had girls who told me, like I've had a girl who called me up and was like, oh, I just want to let you know, your man is doing this and doing that. And at the time he had just co-signed a car for me. He put my car in his complete name. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, if he's cheating on me and he's doing all this, he's doing all that, well, keep doing it. Cause the car that I just got, thank you, boo boo. I appreciate that. So you don't know what type of relationship they have. You don't know what type of things he's telling her. You know, he can say, oh yeah, this is who she is. And she's just this jealous ex and this, that, and the other. And you don't know where she lies emotionally, because I had girls call me up and tell me everything under the sun about him. But I looked at it like, well, you're just hating on what we have, or he would tell me, no, I don't mess with her anymore. And this is what happened with this. And this is what happened with that.
I don't think I'd ever want to come from a place of like, I got your man. Like, but as a woman, I would want to be like, yo, just so you know, like, one, your man is on a dating site. And two, like, he did try to holler and like, I found out.
But why is that?
Not even not your man. Your
why is
your
that,
husband?
But why is that your responsibility?
It's not. But I feel like if it was me, I'd want someone to know. And like being a single woman who's never been married and who wants to be married. Like, that shit is so scary. And it's like, I believe in karma. So, like, part of me is like, if I don't tell...
But the thing is, at this point, if he's on those sites and doing those things, at some point he's going to get caught.
Absolutely.
And those are those things that,
it doesn't have to be me.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is for you to remove yourself from the situation. Don't entertain it. Don't respond. Don't
absolutely
anything.
Not.
I unfortunately was in a situation where, and nothing ever bad came from it, but I had two friends who decided to start dating, and the girl called me and asked me, hey, let me ask you about such and such and blah, blah, blah. And I gave her, I'm never going to lie to anybody. So I gave her my complete honest opinion.
Right.
Like, this person's a great person, this, that, and the other. They're a little rough around the edges, and I know you have a son and this, that, and the other. So these are things you may want to consider and blah, 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 blah. Nothing bad, nothing horrible or whatever. These two are now married. So at one point I had to defend myself where it was, oh, you said something bad about me. I had to pull them both in the room and reiterate what the hell I said. Like, no.
Why you said it.
Right. I said, listen, she asked me, she came to me as a friend. I said, had you come to me and said, let me ask you about this person, I would have said whatever it is about her that I know. So I said, both of you are my friends. And if I feel I said, listen, at the time you wasn't even living right. So she was good for you. That's great. But at the time, you weren't anybody that she should have had around her son. We all know that. So it is what it is. And
right.
I'm glad that they're happy, that they're married. I wish them the best. And I don't have anything ill to say about either one of them. But there's always that feeling that, damn, I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have just minded my business. And if that was something that came out, then let that be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I have been in situations where I've wanted to say something, but then I'm like, nah, let me not. And these people are happily ever after now. And because sometimes people want that facade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she suspects. And if she doesn't know, she suspects.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? People always say, how could you not know? And this person's cheating. I was with somebody for 2 years and didn't know they were married. They had a house out here and a house in Yonkers. I had a key to their house out here. Met their son, everything.
Oh, wow.
And I'm picking your son up from school and things like that. And, and never once did I know, I work late or I got to go this way for this. He made money, and this money does blind you to certain things. And he was very giving. And so every little thing he said, every excuse he gave, every reason he gave, it was fine because the illusion was better than what could possibly be.
Right, right, right.
So, and then again, if you tell this wife this, now she knows who you are. Now you can be somebody that he uses as an excuse all the time.
Right, right.
Oh, remember? No, that was that girl. He's going to save all 5 of his new hoes under your name. No, that's her. Mm-hmm, she calling me again. I don't even like her like that. So.
So, no, for the listener, just finish your story about what happened.
Oh, yes.
When, you cornered him and all that stuff. And she's like, how could you do this to me? Like, finish that story.
Yeah, she basically went off on him about them cheating and things like that. And she was like, you told me this was your house and that you were subleasing. So he was subleasing to me. I was just the tenant that he was subleasing to. And, I was like, oh, okay, well, since I'm subleasing, how about you tell me to leave? Oh, you can't. You leave. You go. And, he left. We split after that point. I made him leave every single day. I was like, nope, from now on, you leave when I leave. And I came home one day and he was in the house. So apparently he had broke into the house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, see, you still can't be trusted. I don't know if you're here. And I'm not sneaking home from work every day and things like that. So literally in the middle of one day, I moved my entire apartment. He came home to an empty. I took the ice cubes out of the ice maker. I took everything. I said, this is mine. Everything I bought in, I left him with his Xbox, his games, things like that.
Damn.
And I think he stole my wedding ring, though, my engagement ring. Give it to the next girl. Let him be somebody else's mistake, not mine.
But what is special about that engagement ring?
Oh, the one that I paid off?
Yes.
Yeah, I paid off my own engagement ring. I figured, hey, we're getting married. Your bills are my bills. And we love each other. No sense in letting it default because that's going to affect me now. No, I paid off my own engagement ring.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm all kind of sad now.
Yeah, I mean.
And the funny thing is that I don't know where he got this from, but he would try to emulate me in the relationship that they had, and he would try to use my rules to co-sign
your dating rules,
whatever he was doing. I don't even have dating rules. I don't know
we
what.
We know, Martini. We know.
I don't know.
I know a lot about you.
You this one right here?
What I do?
No, but like, yeah.
No smoking, no cursing,
Well,
stuff like that.
But
no cursing.
Yeah. Oh, I was ignorant because I curse. I'm like, I am a Brooklyn girl.
Right.
We say fuck a lot.
I sure if I can do.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not like he was like my student and like he was like receiving like this tutelage from me. You know, he was
like
just
Mr. Miyagi.
No, but he was like
wax on.
Because she would tell me that like, yeah, man. No, she would tell me that like, yeah, like he does not like me smoking, whatever. And I was like, well, you know, I mean, smoke is pretty bad, blah blah. And I would just say it just normally.
But he would smoke with the girls that he was cheating on me with.
But then she was like, yeah, but he got that from you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah. She was like, he would always use me in arguments. She's like, yeah, you know, like Martini wouldn't like that. Blah, blah. I'm like, what the hell do I have to do with any of this? Yo, like these are like,
you know what it was? One day we had a conversation, and it was if something happened to me, if I die, who would be the list of people? Mm-hmm. And you know, based on your name came up, so it was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. This was a hypothetical situation. Now I'm in trouble for a hypothetical situation.
But you're using a real person.
It was based on real people.
No, but that's the issue.
You can't say, oh, Idris Elba, like.
No, it was real people. You know, I said, you know, hey, you know, Vin Diesel, you know, Jason Statham,
hey
an
now.
accent. Ooh, yes,
hey now.
It make the panties melt. So, but it was real people. If you had to choose real, okay, well, this would be my lineup. Mm. I thought you'd be proud that I chose people that you entrusted. You know, so I don't know.
But now, like, it was like used against you. But yeah,
I was always being interrogated. He would smell me, like when he would go to hug me.
Are you a dog?
See if I was smoking. He would sit in my car and be like, "So, were you smoking today?" I'm like, "Nah." No, because I knew I'd be in trouble. Like, I felt like it was my dad asking me. You have to lie. Like, you know, right. I'm going to be in trouble if I don't.
And this goes with episode 18, which is emotional abuse.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I don't know if you were aware of that, but you were definitely being emotionally abused.
No.
You know, and it's crazy because, and it's not even because, whatever, they're like, I'm on
being emotionally abused by Martini's rule book.
It's not so much that I'm on your side. It's just that I've listened to your stories countless times.
Now, did he tell you like a different version, or did he ever come out?
He won't ever
and say I fucked up.
He won't ever admit it. If it wasn't for proof and evidence, it just.
Till this day, I still don't know on his end that he cheated.
He just said we didn't work out.
We didn't work out because we didn't work out. That's it. And I don't even think that he knows that she's told me all this stuff,
right?
Because I haven't changed my demeanor.
Does he know you have a podcast?
No.
So weird.
But you know what it is? It's because he is an image person. The image that he puts out is the image that he wants everybody to see him as. Like I said, me meeting him was because he was this genuine person. Like, he made you feel good. He made you feel happy. Like, he was really about giving and doing. And like I said, you know, I am very, very grateful at the fact he put a car in his name for me. And we were only dating a couple of months. So, you know, my car broke down. I had to go back and forth to work. He did that for me. So that was the man that I fell in love with. And I still love that person to this day, where he's that guy, like I said, would give you the shirt off his back, would go out of his way, would do the things that made you want to be around him. And then he also fed that, you know, that emotion of, oh, I've been this, you know, guy that's always been cheated on and hurt. And
I feel like they all say that.
I'm learning that they all do.
I don't understand that.
A good majority of the people.
It's like crazy reverse psychology.
No, but maybe that's what it truly is. Like, the thing is, like I was saying, before I was like, it's not because of, like, I'm on your side because of I know you, but like with the story, like you were so good to him. Like I remember you said like you know you would cook for him all the time and like whatever like
I
you
got,
know you
I got
do,
him
like,
NBA 2K every year for his birthday.
because that was like his
Every
favorite
year.
franchise.
Yeah.
But like but theoretically, like, I mean, not theoretically, like truthfully, like you were very good to him. You cooked whatever. You know what I'm saying? You didn't like withhold any love.
I was trying to give it. I was throwing it out.
You know, and
like,
whatever.
Come get it.
And he didn't know how good he had it, and I don't know why he felt he needed to go elsewhere where you were not withdrawing anything from him. Like whatever he wanted, you would give him. And it's not even like it wasn't even like a greedy thing too. Just like, nah, like you want to have sex? All right, let's go. Oh, you want some freaking food? All right, I'll cook it.
Listen,
whatever.
I am that woman that's like, I believe for my husband, there's not very much that I won't do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I got married, that was the way that I felt. Like, you're hungry, you're thirsty, you want to sit here and play the video games and this and the other. I'll walk beers back and forth to you. I'll fix you drinks, things like that. I want you to be comfortable because in my mind frame, if I'm making you feel good, if I'm making you feel spectacular, you're going to want to do it in return. And it wasn't until, sex became an issue where we weren't having sex as much, where you come home and be tired or, things like that, where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to force you. I mean, there was instances where I'm laying next to you, making myself happy, and you're not even moving. So things like that where you're like, okay, is it me? And for a long time, I went through it's me. I was a lot heavier. I've lost over 250 pounds. Damn. And thanks divorce. So, but no, I mean, just the struggle that I went through behind everything emotionally, I took off a lot of weight, and a lot of it was me getting, pissed off that, he didn't want me and things like that until I met and saw some of the girls that he was cheating with. And a lot of them look like animal crackers and things that you can draw with your left hand.
Wow. That's awesome.
I'm just saying.
Awesome.
I mean, when I met
putting that one in the books.
When I met the girl that allegedly had a baby by him, holy Jesus. I said, oh, I got to take a picture with you. And I happened to meet her by accident. I knew somebody who knew her. We were in the house, having fun and, sitting around and chilling, passing, And I happened to get a phone call, and I'm on the phone and I'm talking to the person. I'm like, kind of, this is still back when everything was still fresh and the wound was still open, and I'm talking about everything. And she walks past the door and she goes, "What's your name again?" I said, "Janika." She says, "Oh." And she says, "Well, I'm such and such." She tells me her name. I'm like, "Oh, let me call you back." And I hung up. So I go out. She's like, "Well, let me tell you, well, first of all, I didn't know." And you was all mouth over the phone. So I'm like, okay, it's not you. It is what it is. I see where you are right now. And to be truthful, I see you. I see me. I am winning right now. Right. If this is what's in your lineup, I am winning. So that's what made me kind of say, you know what? I need to move away from this. I need to let it go because I'm better than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know.
And I have to ask because it wouldn't be fair. I have to play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. So
no, you don't.
I do because you have to look everything at both sides.
I'm good.
So with everything, after seeing all these things, all these women, and all this stuff, why did you continue to stay?
That's a good question.
I told you you had the biggest penis
Thank
I
you.
ever seen. No. No, because I love him.
That's a lot of women's downfall too, though. Don't take that away.
No, true, yes, but it was truly because I loved him. I fell hard for my husband. I love him to this day. I am not in love with him the way that I was, but I love him to this day. Like, it's very hard for me to still see him. I still have emotions for him. I still am attracted to him and things like that. I stayed because I felt, like I said, it goes back to that root. Like, you work things out, you stay and you fight, and life and love is hard, and you're supposed to go through the storm. And I look at,
So did you see the Lemonade video?
I did not.
Oh, damn it. Watch it and get back to me.
I will do that tonight. I got homework. But
just because this is a conversation we had last week, like what you're saying is pretty much like what the end result of the video was that like she went through all this thing, like first she was on some like I'll smash the windows at your car shit, and then she was like, well, you know, grandma told me that like if it's love, you fix it,
right,
you know.
But the thing is, I think it's 2016, okay?
Damn. Guys
realize that all the good girls grew up like that. So I know that I can put you through shit because your mama raised you right. You understand what I'm saying? So now I can play that card. And my husband played that card with me, which was, I've been hurt so many times. And so now I'm jumping through hoops, double dutching, back flips. I'm a gymnast now.
To be the best woman ever.
To show you that, listen, not all women are like this. Not all women use you and, want something from you and things like that. I remember throwing him a birthday party in a hotel. I don't know if you came to that.
Probably not.
But we had a hotel party, and I couldn't remember whether he liked two different types of cake. So I bought both. His birthday's in November, and my birthday's in July. So I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm going to go all out for his birthday, this and the other. My birthday came around. It was, happy birthday. That was it. He would get sick. I would send him things to his house, send him pizza to his job. I was really that like, I am so housebroken, it's ridiculous. So, it was neglecting,
And I guess you can call it the sickening part of it is because, just like you said, he's very charming, whatever. I have not seen his dick. I'm not going to see his dick. But I'm just saying, like, he's
calm down.
But he's just this charming guy because I was talking to him like 2 or 3 days ago. He called me up just to shoot the shit. And every time I speak to him, in the back of my head, I think about you and about everything that I know. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, how can this guy just talk to me about regular shit? And I know all this stuff. Like, I know you're an asshole.
Right.
You are an asshole.
But you know what? and you know what? I'm not going to blame men in general and things like that. But it's, you guys can work on a guy code about, we don't hump the same girl and this, that, and the other. Then the guy code for men should be like, let me make you a better man. Because just not talking about it doesn't change anything. And what happens when he gets with the next girl or the next person and he does it again? And then, you know what, 30 years from now, when you guys are 70 and 80 or 90 and 100 years old, talking about, I could have been a better man, and you say, well, yeah, I saw you going down.
So wait, would you be offended though? Like if Martini if they were talking and Martini was like, yo, I was talking to Jika and she said X, Y, and Z.
I can tell you, knowing that man, exactly verbatim, exactly what he would say.
Like she a liar.
No. This is, you say, let's talk about it one day. Yeah, I kind of figured she already told you. That's what he would tell you. And that's the type of person that he is. He would say, I figured she already told you. Well, what did she tell you? He would want to know what he knew already.
Right.
Because even his family, when we decided to... We were sleeping in separate rooms. Mm-hmm. But when we finally decided to tell his family, he didn't really want his family to know. And he was still walking around as if we were still married. Like we were living in separate places and things like that. And I remember his nephew passed. And I think that's when everybody started. And that was almost a year and a half later. And that's when everybody started to realize, wait, I think they're really not together anymore. And his niece and his nephew are I love them to death. And his niece was really the first person that told me he was cheating. And his nephew really stopped kind of being as friendly. He's like, because what he's doing is wrong. They're like, I would see you come over, you bringing him balloons and soup and stuff and Skittles and things while he's sick. And as soon as you leave, some other chick is coming here. He would tell me he couldn't have guests past 11 o'clock. I'd be strolling through. He lived on a dead end street. I'd stroll through. I'd see somebody walking out 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I would sit outside. And it's things like that. There's so much that I witnessed, I saw, I read text messages in his phone that even to this day, he doesn't know I know. So, you know, it's going back to what I was saying about a guy code. It's like sometimes I would never be mad if you said, you know, Janika really opened up to me one day and she told me everything. And I really want to talk to you and find out your side, because I think everybody deserves that. And I think he's a good enough person that he needs somebody to talk to. And his brother passed, you know, away. And I think that was his person. And he doesn't have that anymore. So for him, he's never going to get that off his chest until somebody pulls it out of him. And I think that it damages people because you never let that go. So you keep doing the same thing you keep doing. And you never really become a different person.
Right.
We talked about this last time, like with the cheating, like that sometimes when people cheat, there's like a deficit in them. Do you think, you don't have to say what it is, but do you think that you could identify in your head what his deficit may be?
He was self-conscious about himself. I mean, I thought he was an absolutely gorgeous man. I did. To this day, I do. I have my thing about him. But, you know, he felt a certain way about his weight and things like that. So part of me getting older and looking back on it wants to say that it was an excuse. Because I look at the way I am, and, you know, I always used to tell him, I said, you and I are almost the same. We just grew up on different ends of the spectrum. Where you have an issue about your weight, so do I. But it's on different levels. And I'm not out there sleeping with 50,000 people because I feel bad about myself. You understand what I mean? I'm reserved about that. Like, wait a second, not everybody's gonna see everything under here, you know, because you don't feel that great about yourself. So I think it came easy to him, and it comes too easy when you have girls who feel less about themselves, or you have girls who they don't get that nice light-skinned guy. And the type of girls that he was cheating with were these dark-skinned women with low self-esteem and didn't feel good about themselves and things like that, where you see him coming and he looks like Jesus walking. You know,
Jesus.
You know, so he had, you know, he was a nice looking dude, and you see him walking, and it was one of those things where, oh, he's talking to me, and he fed off of that, so it came easy to him.
Gotcha. So it's all been very enlightening. Now moving forward, so you got divorced, and you've been divorced now for, if my calculations are correct, like about 2-3 years.
I have been separated for 3 years, and I have been legally divorced. Hallelujah. Since February of this year.
Congratulations.
Yes, it was a struggle, and men never want to give you a divorce. I don't care what they say. If it comes down to them having to pay and put money out, they will stay married forever. I wanted to be free.
Right.
I wanted to not be married. I felt like every time somebody said my last name, it was like nails on a chalkboard. Because it was an everyday reminder. You know what I mean? I had a situation where I was pregnant and it wasn't by my husband. So it was all after our relationship, obviously. But I was seeing somebody new, but my last name is still the same.
Right.
And so to be having someone else's baby and have them at every doctor's appointment and hear them call you by a different last name, it's like a constant reminder. So, you know, it's even now I fight to change my name, and I was on the phone with Sprint all day today trying to get my name changed, which after being transferred 3 times, being hung up on, and then having to send an email, they tell me, yeah, we can't help you because of the type of account you have. So please contact employee accounts. I was just there. They made me go to the mall, everything. I hate the mall.
Right.
I was in the mall. He's like, no, we can't help. After he stared at me for about 5 minutes, he was like, oh, how can I help you? I was like, yeah, I need to do a name change. Oh, what, married? No, got a divorce. Oh, yeah. You got to do that online. you got to call. I was like, you could have told me that 5 seconds and ago. You just irate me 4 times. But I don't know. Like, I stayed because I loved him. You know, that there's really no other answers. I knew better, you know.
And what Jennifer was saying about like the deficit and all that stuff, he is definitely the same, because on the conversation that I was having with him, you know, I was like, oh, what's going on with you, man? You know, because he always wants to know what's going on with me, because I don't know.
I want you to
he lives vicariously through you.
He does, which is weird.
Why?
I don't know.
We don't go nowhere.
Because you.
Thanks, Jen.
But you want to know something?
Wait, you talk to him and he lives vicariously through you, and he doesn't know you do a podcast?
Correct.
When I say you don't go nowhere, you do things. But I'm saying it's not like you're like fucking like jet setting across fucking Europe every week.
Because you know what? Because when you think about yourself and you think about, okay, and I don't want to call him a failure, because that's not really what it is, but it's more of I failed at this, or I failed at that. And I'm looking at somebody who's doing more, or, you know, you're not going through a divorce and your wife is saying that you cheated and all this stuff. And, you know, I think I'm the first person to expose him. And even when I first started dating him, his ex-girlfriends were calling me and telling me, and the things that they said then, I'm saying now. You know, he was doing this, he was doing that. But you don't think about it. You don't think about it. So,
well, Martina, you come across as like somebody who's probably like very good in relationships. And
absolutely not. No, I'm just kidding.
No, right on the nose.
You know what it is?
I wasn't gonna throw him under the bus.
It's the fact, no, and this is, I've known you a very long time. You're a gentleman.
Right, absolutely.
That is what it is. It's like, if I'm a shitty individual and I'm looking at you and you're my friend and you're this nice guy, you're the epitome of what I want to be, but I'm too much of a whore to be it.
Right.
That's really what it is. So he's going to live vicariously through you, because you do the things and you are the thing that he wants to hope to be, but he's not.
But he's following that other person that we know.
Because that's what's great. And life is fun. Life is fun. It's like, think about it. You get $1 million. Yeah, it's going to be fun spending that money. But then when you really sit down and realize, wait, I should have paid bills.
Because the reason why he's acting like a whore is because he's following one of his other longtime friends, and that guy is like living the life, because he's sleeping with everybody and having fun doing it and being quote unquote a man,
right?
And you know,
that's the steps
women are giving it to him.
But that's what it is. Oh, my husband would I would walk in on him in conversations and listening to all the stories, and oh yeah, that's what's going on, and, you know, and then, you know, there was a misconception that, because I never really bashed him to anybody. Like, nobody knew anything until we were getting a divorce.
Right.
I never really spoke about it. Like, my close friends and things like that, they knew the ins and outs. But as far as everybody else, so nobody ever knew what was going on with us. But I would never put him on blast. I would never say things. So people would think, like, when they would see us together, like, oh, you know, your wife got your balls in her hand and you waiting on her for hand and foot, you know, because he'd be that guy around everybody else.
Right.
You need anything? You good? You all right? You want something to drink? You all right? You need anything? No, I got that for you. Da-da-da-da. That didn't go on behind closed doors. Trust and believe. But in front of people, that's what went on. So I remember before his brother passed away, we had a whole long conversation. And his brother was like, you know, I really feel bad for him, because, you know, you really, you know, take his manhood away and all this stuff. I said, well, do you know the whole story? Did he tell you the whole story? Do you know everything going on? He was like, no, you know, I just remember when you guys came down to Virginia to visit, he was waiting on you hand and foot, asking you, did you need anything, giving you foot rubs. And I said, you want to know why? I said, because I had used my money to rent the vehicle because he wanted to come and see you. So I decided to rent a car. I decided to drive. I paid for the entire trip. We stayed at his brother's house, everything. As I'm driving, he's in the car, and I have pictures to prove it, out like a light. I drove the entire way. As he's sitting in the car, passenger seat pimping, sleeping, his phone rings. So I wake him up. I said, hey, your phone's ringing. It's, you know, obviously booty call hours. It's late at night. We driving down to Virginia. And he was like, oh, it's not important. It's not important. Phone keeps going. Phone keeps going. So I was like, answer it. I pull over on the side of the road. I says, we're going to sit here until you answer the phone. I says, either A, you're going to answer it, or B, you're going to call them back. One or the other is going to happen. So he picks up the phone and tries to turn the volume down real quick. But I hit speaker, right? So I was like, click, speaker. So I hear, where you at? You know, you supposed to be here. Because I caught him on a surprise. We going down to VA. So you ain't have a chance to tell your hoes where you going. So, you know, this is, hey, I can't talk right now. I said, no, he can't. He cannot. Who is this? You know, same girl that apparently followed me through my entire relationship. But it was a multitude of girls, but this was one in particular.
That makes dating so scary.
Yeah. So we, anyway, his brother goes, yeah, so when you guys came down, I said, yeah, that's because when we were in the car, this, you know, I explained to him what happened. And I said, we are at the halfway point. I said, you guys sit here and tell me what the hell is going on, or we will turn the hell around and go back to New York, you know? So he was all, you know, oh, telling me the story, this is what happened, and I'm sorry, and blah, blah, blah. We get to Virginia. I said, don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't act nothing. Don't say nothing to me this whole damn weekend. You know, I was pissed. So I have to act nice now. I'm meeting his brother for the first time. So his brother doesn't realize we just had this whole big blowout in the car.
Damn.
And I have to go and, hi, nice to meet you. Yes, da-da-da-da-da. I was pissed. So I said, that's why he was being nice the whole time. Because I told him, I said, the second you piss me off, I am going off. I'm just going to rip you a new one. So he was Mr. Nicey Nice the whole weekend. When his brother found out about all that, I told his brother everything. And his brother finally said to me, he says, I was living out on my own by this point. He says, you need to go get you some ass. He been getting some. I was like, oh. I was like, no, I'm not ready. I honestly didn't hook up with anybody, sleep with anybody, nothing for a good 6 months after I was living on my own. And this was after months of not sleeping with him, sleeping in separate rooms, things like that. It just, you can't bring yourself to do it. And I went down a rabbit hole. I was depressed. I was in bad shape. I remember speeding home from work crying, you know, like my life is over and this and everything's bad. And I remember speeding and pulling into my driveway, like my complex. So like 2 wheels, everything, looked like the silver bullet Coors Light train coming through. And I just had to laugh to myself. Like, I am rushing home to lay in bed to be depressed. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, it was just horrible. And there's just things that I wouldn't wish on people, and to go through all of that and really try to put your all in everything. I mean, I'm not swearing off dating. I mean, I love people, so I can't not date, but it does make you double dutch every relationship where you're like, okay, I don't know yet. Where I meet guys every day, and I mean, listen, I tell people, yo, can I talk to you? I'm married. I got 5 kids, 4 on the way, you know. Don't talk to me. Like, you know, I went through a whole, like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to date anybody. Nothing, you know, and I'm yapping, but.
Nah, you're fine. No, but with the conversation that we were having, like, I'm just saying, like, he's completely the same, because, yeah, we were talking about whatever. We were just talking about just regular stuff. And I was like, what's going on with you? And he's like, oh, I'm chilling, you know, working, you know, trying to find another job, blah, blah. I was like, all right, that's cool. But then he always, every time we, not every time, but every other time we speak, and it'll probably be like a 4 or 5 month gap, he'll always say this, but the way that he says it and the words that he uses is so awkward, because he'll be like, yeah, and you know, messing with this girl. Like, he never claims a woman ever. He always says, I'm messing with this girl. And sometimes, like, I'll tell Janique, oh, yeah, you know, spoke with what's-his-face. And then she'll be like, oh, she's been going out with him. I mean, he's been going out with her for like a year. And I'm like, so why does he say messing? Like he's like it's been like 2 weeks or something.
He was in a full like 1 year relationship and he wouldn't say nothing to nobody.
And he'll still say messing with this girl.
Because that's all he does is mess with girls.
But that's the thing. Like I was saying before, like it's a deficit, and it's just like like, and that's the thing too. Like I was saying before.
No, what? Why don't you ever turn around and say like?
When
like,
you gonna settle down?
Yeah,
when you
like
get you a girl?
you ever gonna get married again? Like yo, be like, don't you feel like you're too old to just be messing?
Because he'll shrug it off.
No, because you know what? Well, he probably will shrug it off. But the thing is, one is because like, and I know this might sound me being it might sound like I'm hypocritical or whatever, because I've been saying, for the past like couple weeks, like stop enabling assholes and stuff like that, because I hate that. I want to say stuff to him just like, yo, bro, like I know everything, son. Like what the fuck? Like I'm so mad at you right now. Like why would you do that? But like, and it's not that I don't because like I'm scared or whatever, but it's like I just feel sad, man, because it's just like, what is like, not like, yo, what is wrong with you? But like, no, man, what is wrong?
Like I'm not perfect, but I'm a good woman,
but you fucking did,
like,
you did a lot. Don't pedal back.
No.
I will stand right here on this damn table and shout you out. No, because you were awesome as a wife. Like, don't take that away. You know what I'm saying? This guy's like, yo, you brought this dude $2,000 every freaking year, you know what I'm saying, for his birthday. And and that might not be nothing to like some people, but like that's his favorite franchise. So you were speaking his language, you know what I'm saying? You were getting his favorite thing every year. Like he anticipated it. You know what I'm saying?
Nintendo
but now,
World.
You know what I'm saying? But now like and all you might want is, just affection, because that's your husband, duh.
Right.
But he's like, nah, fourth quarter, yo. Fourth quarter. I can't. I'm online.
Live.
Yeah. I'm online, yo. I gotta beat this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's like, babe, I'm like naked in front of you. Yeah, that's good. But yo, live. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's horrible.
I tried to learn to play, but I'm horrible at NBA 2K.
But that's another thing too.
I only know one move.
But you tried to like include yourself in his activities. You know what I'm saying? And like you did all you could, and he just shat on you. He shat in his hand, and then he's like, oh, I don't need this, and then just put it in your face. And like, what? I don't understand. So like,
I feel like you need to say something, Martini.
With other people, I guess it's because he's my friend. Because like with other people, like the guy, like your ex that I fucking hate,
Jesus.
I don't give a fuck about him, but like with him, but with your guy, with your ex-husband, it's like, like I feel so sad for you, man. Like what is wrong with you?
Because you know him.
Like why are you doing this? Like why?
But
man?
because you know him, I feel like that gives you like the power.
We definitely are at this age that those are the things that we should be talking about. I have a friend of mine who his mom unfortunately just passed away, and he was sitting talking to me like, the things that we don't think about until we have to think about them, like, saving up and retirement and things like that. And that's something that at 30, he's going to be 36 years old. He needs to say, hey, listen, you're not young anymore. You at some point might catch something. And I don't think the heavens above and the universe and everybody that man is that I am 37 years clean of anything, because he was playing Russian roulette with my life, and that is a big part of what pushed me in the walkout direction, because I had to say he's not finding safer ways to cheat. He's finding sneakier ways to cheat, which can ultimately be fatal, because
it's more dangerous.
Now, okay, you can't keep condoms anywhere. You can't keep this on you. You can't spend any money, because the second you take something out, okay, she could find this. Or what did you spend? It was so bad. I would see that he would spend like $30-something at 7-Eleven. I'm like, what the hell did you spend $37 at 7-Eleven for?
Yeah.
Obviously you bought a whole bunch of snacks and this and that and the other, accommodating company. So, but I found out that he wasn't using protection, humping in the back of our apartment complex outside when I'm sleeping. So things like that, Like, if I would have ever caught a disease, I think I would have caught a case.
Right.
I would have definitely caught my first body. 187.
Much deserved.
Yeah.
But okay, so we went through like the brokenness, the cheating, the betrayal, and you were starting to go through, breaking free, and you finally broke free. It took you a very long time. I was there for it. It took you a very long time to, break free from that whole scenario. He's still down in Virginia. You're up here, up north. So
I told you he got rehoed.
So that's great. But tell the people, like, how did you restore yourself? Because you said you left off that you realized, like, yo, why am I rushing home
to sit and be
depressed? Like, what the hell am I doing?
I mean, I did. I had to be my own cheerleader. A lot of it came where one of the ways that I was going to try to salvage my marriage was to go on a balloon ride, right? And I remember calling up and them telling me, like, I don't know what made me ask. I says, is there a weight limit? And they told me, like, oh yeah, and when they told me, I was like, yeah, I won't be able to go on this balloon ride. And it was, well, I can go and meet you at the end. Wait, what? No. Word? No. So it was just one of those things where it's true what they say. You get tired of just being tired.
Yeah.
And I was just so down. I was depressed. I was home. And I just had to say, you know what? I can't do this. Like, he would come over, and like when we did start talking, and he would be like, yeah, so I'm seeing somebody, and I'm like, so you cheated on me, and I'm home depressed, feeling like life is over, and you dating?
Like, congratulations, you've always been seeing somebody.
Right. You've always been dating.
Very true.
But it was when he started to tell me, I appreciate the fact that you used to cook and used to clean, and tell me all like the bad.
They don't do that shit.
The bad about the new person he's seen. I'm thinking, wait a second,
we ain't cool like that.
We're not. Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to know that.
I wouldn't want to know.
And then when I realized that, he wanted to come around because, you want to try to get some booty, and I gave in. Sometimes I did because I looked at it like, this is my husband. I rationalized it, and it wasn't until you getting dressed and you gotta go. Like, wait, I just fucked my husband and he leaving to go do something with the next chick. So after a while, I had to say, you know what, I'm better than this. I can't. And it took me a while, but I stopped talking to him. I would have friends over. I started making it a point to always have people at my house, because if I'm not alone, if I'm not by myself, I'm not lonely.
Right.
So, after a while, I met somebody and he was a coworker, and the nitty gritty happened. And it's like I said, it was after speaking to, his brother and saying, you're married, and that's a technicality in the Black community, but, you're not married. So, it made me feel bad at first, like, oh my God, I'm having sex with somebody and I'm still technically married. But after a couple of times of feeling really good and being in a situation of, you know what, I used to have to fight for this. Now I don't. Yeah, you start to feel pretty good after a while. And then as I started to feel like, you know what, he did, whether he would ever intentionally do it, he made me feel like something was wrong with me. Like, you're messing with.
That's like typical though of those kind of relationships where you get cheated on. Like, you always like internalize it first. Like, something I did.
What was it? What was it about me? And like I said, even with the weight, like being heavier, you're like, that's what it is. And even though you never said anything about it, even though you saying that you don't make a big deal about it is you making a big deal about it. Like, oh, I would never make a big deal about your weight, right? You're making one right now. How about you just never mention it and act like it's not there?
Right.
So, but I just started to just little by little kind of pull myself out and try to do more things. And things just kind of happened. I really feel the way they should have. I ended up losing my job through a layoff. My apartment lease was up literally 1 month later. And I said, you know what? It's just time for me to move and do something different. So I decided that I was going to, come back home to New York, check on my mom. My plan was to be out here for a little while. But I started to realize that I tend to run a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's when things start to be bad and when things start to go down, I'm like, I got to go somewhere. I got to move. I got to go. I got to be somewhere else. And I said, if I sit in one place and try to make the best of this bad situation, let's see what happened. And apparently I played with fire because the heavens said, oh, you bought that life? Oh, okay. Let me throw everything at you. And literally 2015 was probably the worst year of my life. Like, just everything you could imagine to happen happened. From fighting for my divorce to a miscarriage to 5 months pregnant and losing a baby to a week before Christmas. The ex-boyfriend going back to his ex-girlfriend, the ex-boyfriend before him going back to his ex-wife. It makes you really sit back and be like, well, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, I am the plague. That's how I felt. And listen, I'm not a religious person. I'm not a, Jesus. That's just not me. A tattoo on the back of my neck that says to thine own self be true, and I will always be true. But I believe that there is a higher something out there that said, you know what, it's like wringing out a washcloth. You got to get all the water out if you want it to dry. And that's how I felt. Like, okay, everything happened, all of this stuff happened, and it was just a cleanse. Like, it had to happen. Like, I didn't even know I could get pregnant until 2015. I never even had a pregnancy scare. Oh, wow. And to be married, and obviously we weren't having protected sex, being married, which we should have been because he was dirty. But, I never even got pregnant with him. So it just, looking back, literally turning around and looking back, saying, it wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be. And for me to get out of that marriage and then get pregnant accidentally, and, well, it wasn't accidentally. I knew what the hell I was doing. I just wasn't trying to get pregnant. Right. The accident wasn't the act. But, unfortunately, and for those not to work out, it makes me appreciate the struggle that I go through. One, because I wouldn't wish it on anybody else, because I don't think anybody else could really live my life and be like, oh, I'm good. They break down every day, and I have my moments. I get sad. I'm not as happy every single day. I don't walk around like, strawberry shortcake, like, hey, everybody, and, yay, yay, yay. I have my moments, but I know that there is a better purpose out there. You know what I mean? I know that something better. And the more I kind of push motivation and push positivity and say, let's stay motivated, stay positive. Yeah, I might not feel that every day, but I'm going to push it every day, because even if I don't feel it, somebody else needs to feel it. Right. And it does feel good to have people say, oh, you said this and that motivated me. And sometimes I listen like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going through that right now. But later it'll hit me like, I'm good. I'm glad that worked out for them. Or I'll shoot somebody that say, hey, I'm glad that worked out for you. My life is shitty right now, but I'm glad yours is good. But no, I mean, everything kind of started to kind of work its way into looking better, where, like I said, I lost and have kept off for the last 3 years to over 200. I say 250. I've been saying 250 for the last year, but it's been over 250. I've kept off. I work out. I date. I definitely date. And I feel what you're saying. It's like, you've never, it's hard. I don't think I have ever dated. This at 30, I keep saying 37, but 36, about to be 37, is the first time that I'm actually dating. Right. I've always been in a relationship. I had my first boyfriend at 18, 19 was.
I'm with you. I've been in a relationship since I was a kid. This is the first time that I've been single long enough to actually date, where you go on dates, and it's scary. I don't like it. I am not a fan. Let
me tell you something. I love it. I love it. You want to know why?
I've had some good experiences. I'm not gonna say I haven't. I dated some people and they're really nice and things go well. But some people, you just meet and You're like, this can't be what it is.
But you know what? You know what power you have? Everybody wants what you're sitting on. So I have the power to determine if you're going to get it or not. And the thing is,
I got you on that.
You are going to jump through hoops until you do. And I have the decision of saying how long you're going to jump. And I don't say jump through hoops like, you know, I want to make them do these.
Prove your worthiness.
I'm not saying that, but a man, and I definitely have learned to differentiate boys and men. You know what I mean? So a boy will be like, oh, I'm going to do the very least, and I'm going to do everything at the beginning, and I'm going to throw everything at you so I can get them draws. Once I get them draws, I don't have to do all that no more. And now I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to be a dick. So that way you break up with me and you don't want to see me anymore because I'm an asshole.
Right.
You know, you want that man that's going to, hey, you're on an interview. What do you want? There's nothing. Men don't have a problem asking for pictures. They don't have a problem asking you for sex. They don't have a problem asking you for anything. So why should you have a problem saying, you know what are your intentions with me?
Right.
What is it that you want with me? And I'm telling you right now, your friend has been deleted out of my phone. So if he ever texts me, he would get the who's this. But, you know, I look at it like I have no tolerance. I have no patience anymore because I have been through enough. And it does take a strong man to love a hurt woman because everything you do is going to be looked at. Everything you do is going to be critiqued. And as much as men don't want to hear that, oh, that's too much work. That too much work woman done been through all the shit that if you get past everything she's been through, you have a gem right there. And I'm not perfect by any means. I have my flaws and things like that. But at the end of the day, I know my worth. And I know the value that I would bring to a relationship as far as where I want to go. So I'm going to look for that man that's willing to understand that I done heard this all before. You might not really be saying this for the first time. And not look at it as, oh, well, you heard it before. You heard it before. I've had guys do that to me. Oh, yeah, well, I know you heard this before, right? Yeah, so say something different. Tell me what about you makes you stand out. If this is your resume and you're applying for a job and you want this job, what makes you stand out? What makes me want to get, because you standing on the same corner every single day talking about, hey, ma. You do that to everybody that walk by. What is going to make you stand out? Now, if you to do this, like, hey, look, oh yeah, you know, I see you come out every Thursday and I realize that you have groceries. And do you want me to walk you to, you know, something a little different? You know what I mean? Sadly enough, we don't have that anymore. But I look at guys nowadays where if they come with something different, like a prime example, I started dating, right? This guy who apparently has liked me for a long time. We used to work together, everything, decides, hey, you know, I'm actually in the process of about to be divorced and I wanted to talk to you. My first red flag is you're about to be divorced and you're already thinking about dating.
Right.
That's number one. These are things that I would have never looked at before. I would have never thought about something like that. But I'm like, okay, wait a second. So you just divorced and you not even, papers ain't even filed yet and you already talking about dating. That's number one. Number two, you're very sweet. You're very charming. Things like that. You make it a point to make it not about sex. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, we have to have that conversation like, hey, you know, this might not be what it is for me. And I told him, hey, look, I'm dating. Oh, well, I want you to know you're the only person I'm seeing. I don't want that. I want you to see other people. I want you to date because I don't need you worrying about what I'm doing 24/7 and I might not be the person for you. But I started to have a lot more luck in dating where I can kind of, you know, gauge where, you know what, I don't want that or I want that or I'm willing to see where this goes. But I realized stuff started to kind of just pick up and be better and to feel better. And I got into modeling and I kind of tripped and fell and I don't know. They don't know the real me.
No, but that's what I wanted to get into for the final thing, for the final leg of the interview is like 2015, horrible year.
Yeah.
But I know things are much more positive in 2016. So please tell everybody like what you're doing, what's going on. I mean,
Yes, I am doing fashion shows. I do modeling. I have done New York Fashion Week. I done Harlem Fashion Week.
and she just started, and
yeah,
she's already in Fashion Week. Fashion Week is freaking huge, and she just started, so she's killing it.
I've been doing it a good solid now. I'm going on a year and a half. That's still baby, brand new in the modeling world. When I tell you I literally fell into it, I was like, oh, really? You want me to do this? Oh, okay. I guess so. Fine. And then it kind of just went from there. I'm basically doing a competition. I am doing, not basically, but I'm doing a competition in August called Curvaceous, which is for the plushy girls like me. I definitely motivate plushy and curvy girls because we are the underdogs. I don't care what any guy say. Every guy wants to fuck a fat bitch once. I'm sorry. They do. Like, girl, you see all that cushion right there? Because no matter what part of us you touch, you're gonna get turned on. Like, like it doesn't matter. So, and then, I want to bring out the stigma of, I've had guys call me, oh, I have a big girl fetish. I'm not something in the porn store in the back corner.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I want to bring out the fact that we are not fetishes. We are not, to be loved behind closed doors. We are real people, and there's, you have big girls, you have BBWs, whatever you want to call yourself, you have curves, you have this, you got to love yourself. And it took me a very, very, very long time to even be able to say that out loud, to say, you know what, I like me. I look in the mirror now, you have seen my selfie collection. And
yes,
I take selfies because sometimes I have to look at myself and be like, man, that doesn't even look like me. That doesn't look like me, And I am my own cheerleader every day.
Awesome.
Where I'm like, you know what? I amp myself up. I work out in the mirror. I make it a point to love the skin you're in. I have stretch marks. I have curves. I have marks. I have jiggles, whatever you want to call it. However, I have never had a problem getting a man. So when people look at girls like me, or I like to say I do it for the plushy ones, because we are plushy. I am soft. I take care of myself. Things like that, where I make it a point to go the extra mile because I'm a big girl, because I am a curvy, thick, all the right places person. And I wasn't always that happy about myself. And to talk to people who've known me a long time, be like, oh, you were always cute and you were always pretty and things like that. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. When were you going to tell me that? So I am doing this competition because it's meaningful for people to realize, like, we are sexy, we are beautiful, and guys love us. Girls get mad when they find out he watching BBW porn. Walk in on your man looking at some fat bitch rods, big dick.
Oh my goodness, I almost choked on my water.
I'm serious. Listen, it is what it is. I don't shame myself. I love porn. I do. I will watch anything. I'm like, I might not like everything,
right,
but I will watch anything. But I do. I love porn, and I tend to ask guys, I'm like, do you like porn? Like, they just think it's a gateway to, like, we're having sex.
You're like, no, I was just curious.
Like, yeah, I just want to know if you like porn. I'm like, well, what type of porn you like? And it's like, you can always tell the guys who never been with a big girl, but I like big girl porn. No, you don't. Don't lie. What's your favorite big girl porn? I don't know. When I get that guy, I'm like, what type of porn you like? Oh, I like BBWs. Right there, I know, okay, you like BBWs. You like big girls. What type of porn you like? Oh, I saw this one last week. Yeah, I fuck with you. You like us, But I've had guys who worship me. And then I've had guys in the same situation where I think, I don't have the right equipment for you. If you don't think you have the right equipment for you, you probably don't. Your tongue work, though? What that mouth do?
What that mouth do, though?
What that mouth do, though? But yeah, I am doing Curvaceous August 30th. August. I got to figure out the day.
August something.
It's August something, you know. But it's basically a competition for models that are upcoming or modeling or professional, whatever, to show your curves. Tickets are $40. You're welcome to come. VIP is $65. It is in Harlem. It is on a Saturday night. And it's something basically to hype your friend up, hype the big girl up, hype the, media up to let them know that, hey, I want clothes that look nice. I want not flower print stuff. I don't think we should all wear leopard leotards. Right. I like yoga pants, but not every day.
Yeah. All right.
I tend to talk. I told you.
No, it's fine.
You're great.
I'm
enlightened.
You told me everything that I wanted you to say.
Yeah.
I was sad at first, but now I feel proud,
And I write and I do poetry. I actually wrote about my ex-husband that I got to perform in front of him for the first time a year or so ago, but he had never heard me perform it, and it hit him this is what it is. But I write, I put all my feelings on paper.
Where's your poem, Martini? Yo, I really wish we had this on camera. I just got the illest ice grill. We'll talk about that another time.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say what you were referring to, but
I love that poem.
I love it too.
Which poem?
Martini and I dated, as everyone knows, and Martini was very salty, as he should be. I'm not going to take that away from you. That I left and went back to my ex. You're like, you bitch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Martini. I'd be bitter too.
So Martini wrote this kick-ass poem. So we used to perform at Verbal Lift, and I didn't go that night, but I saw the video of Martini performing it, and it got his point across. But I felt like an asshole.
But the thing on my end was that I went there, and it was going to be my first time performing any of my work, and because I don't do that. I usually keep things just either inside or on paper, but never to be seen by anybody. So on my end, this was the first time that I was going to perform. And the funny thing was, it was on Valentine's Day, and I was already with my girl, my ex-fiance at the time, and she was sitting in the audience. But she knew what I was gonna. It's not like it was a surprise, because my thing was, she doesn't really hold it against me, but she always thought that it was she always frowned upon it that I was thinking about somebody else while we were together on Valentine's Day. But the thing was, my thing was that I was saying goodbye to Jennifer that day.
But see,
you know what I'm saying? And that's why I did it that day, and to do it in front of everybody, to have a public all right, this is squash.
But you got to leave the past in the past.
No.
My most recent ex that that's why we are no longer together, because he still had feelings for his ex-girlfriend. So I says, well, maybe you should go see what that's about. I feel like if you keep worrying about what could have happened, you neglect what might happen.
Oh, no, absolutely. But it wasn't a thing to get her back. It was this is what I've been feeling for the past, it probably would have been 5-6 months. You know how you make somebody know what you've been feeling? Stop talking to them. Be like, you know what? You know how I feel about you? I don't. Well, I don't feel about you. I did stop talking to her.
For 7 years.
No. But I did find the poem.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Breakups make the best poetry. At least that's what they say. So I'll write upon these pages, and I'll let my own heart have its day. Now, rhyming might be out of style, but it gets the point across. So I'll keep my style of writing, and I G it like a boss. Now, I've never said out loud to many what my heart screams every day, that the men who've entered in my life have made me this way. It's not uncommon for broken hearts, and those I have had many. But to me, the cost is far too great to not even have any. Although at the time it doesn't feel as such that you will ever love again, but really all you needed, what I needed was to be my own best friend. I've given my love freely when holding on to it proved unjust, even engulfed myself in the wrong people who eventually betrayed my trust. My love runs deep, so the hurt runs even deeper. I'm a tortured soul of why no one ever fights to keep her. Now, this is my story, so the feelings may be jaded, but we all have our own memories, no matter how faded. Those heartbreaks and 808s that I know we can all relate to, has someone somewhere out there saying, yeah, I hate you. Hate's what I felt at the time, a harsher word as it may be, but just listen to my words and please don't judge me. I've seen a lot of faces, I've crossed a few paths, I've run into the coochie bandits, but I married the one who's just like dad. For many who don't know me and don't know my pain and strife, my dad was like my husband and I just like his wife. The lowest point for me was the feeling I was defeated, being at your bottom level and still being mistreated. I'm doing better now because the healing has begun, but I know I have a long road ahead of me, but God says, sit back, I got this one. So just like this poem, I know I'm not close to being finished. I know I'm not close to being what I could become. But if you think this is just the beginning, you already know you're dumb. So take it as an inspiration, a motivation, or whatever you feel for you. Just know there's someone out there saying, yeah, me too.
Damn. Fire.
It is.
Well, I thank you for one, sharing your poem, and for two, sharing your story. I mean,
what did I say, listeners out there? Amazing story. But go on, Jennifer.
But I appreciate you coming and sharing, and I'm glad that you come from like a place of strength now, and you know that is just proof that you can go through hell and still come out on top, and that's the most important part of the story. I mean, obviously, people don't always get married with the intention of the divorce,
right?
You know, but let's be realistic, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes for not so great reasons,
and look for the signs.
Yeah, definitely that.
Every day is a work in progress. Every day is a stepping stone. It's a move in the right direction. It's a I did better than yesterday day. Every day is
perfect. That. Do you have anything else, March? I have no meme for today. There's no meme for divorce. But the meme that you read this morning, I mean this morning, it seems like this morning.
I told you I
the
talked.
one that you sent me this morning, we should put that up.
Oh yeah, that one.
We'll share that one.
Yeah, we'll put that one. And I was gonna go into articles, but we don't even need it. We'll just go to www.bedlovebeyond.com and search for this episode, and you'll see all the articles that I was going to say, because it was pretty much talking about things to look for before you get a divorce, and the top, like, I don't know, like 9 or 10 things that why people get divorced. And also too, it was interesting because it goes by state, because everybody says that, like, divorce is 40 to 50% likely to get divorced, but you can't look at it that way because that's kind of obscure. You have to look at it by population, by per thousand or whatever. I don't know, but it was very interesting. But yeah, no articles, no meme. We were just blown away by this story. So, like,
thank you.
Yeah, we want
and definitely come out and see me at Curvaceous. It's in Harlem at the Black National Theater, and I think I was getting a date for you guys.
Yeah, and I'll definitely put in info about the Curvaceous and the whole contest if you want to see Janika perform. All right, guys. So thank you, Janika. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Seriously,
we'll have to come back on a more positive episode.
Hey, I'm down. I love this.